بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام والسنة. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah. من حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه فيما رواه مسلم في صحيحه قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حق المسلم على المسلم ست. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said in his hadith, that's from the hadith that Abu Hurairah narrated, authoritative Abu Hurairah, collected in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said that the rights of a Muslim upon a Muslim, then they are six. The rights of the Muslim upon the Muslim, then there are six. And it is incumbent when we hear the likes of this that we pay very close attention, because it is binding that we give and we fulfill the rights to everyone who has over us a right, that we fulfill their rights. This is binding upon us. The Prophet ﷺ, and I want us to pay very close attention to these rights, because unfortunately in many cases they become rights that have been neglected. They have become rights that have been neglected, وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. And when one reflects over these rights, then they will see, one, the ease that it is to establish these rights, and they will see, if they ponder and contemplate, the benefits that come when these rights are established, and the love that will foster between the Muslims when these rights are established, and how the relationships between the Muslims, they will be enhanced and enriched if these rights are established. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا لَقِيتَهُ فَسَلِّمْ عَلَيْهِ. Then when you meet him, then give salams to him. Say unto him, Assalamu alaikum. This is incumbent. It is small, one may think, but it is tremendous. It is tremendous in its effects. It is tremendous in the fruits that come from it. It is tremendous in the reward that a Muslim, they will get for implementing this. Then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا دَعَاكَ فَأَجِبْهُ. And if he invites you, then answer that invitation. وَإِذَا اسْتَنْصَحَكَ فَانْصَحْهُ. And if he seeks your advice, then give him good, sincere advice. وَإِذَا عَطَسَ فَحَمِدَ اللَّهِ فَشَمِّتْهُ. And if he sneezes and then praises Allah, then say unto him, يَرْحَمُكَ اللَّهِ. وَإِذَا مَرِضَ فَعُدْهُ. And when he becomes sick, then visit him. When he becomes sick, then visit him. Now, this will require from us that when he becomes sick, we visit him, that we pay attention to our brothers. We pay attention to who is present and who is not present. And this is from the benefits of establishing the salawat and jama'ah. This is from the benefits of establishing the prayer in congregation. Because you will become accustomed to seeing who is present, so therefore when they are absent, their absence will be felt. You will understand something has changed in the life of my brother, which has resulted in his absence. So therefore you can investigate. Why is he absent? Perhaps he's traveling, perhaps he's become busy with something, or perhaps they are sick. And if they are sick, then it is their right that we visit them. وَإِذَا مَاتَ فَأَتْبِعْهُ. And if he passes away, then we have to follow the funeral procession. Ya ibadallah. These rights are incumbent that we establish the rights of these rights, because this is from what it means to be a good Muslim. That when we meet the Muslims, we say unto them, Assalamu alaikum. Na'am. And the first one to say it, then he is the best from the two. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, خَيْرُهُمَا الَّذِي يَبْدَأُ بِالسَّلَامِ. And the best of the two is the one who begins the salam. When we see our brothers, we should be striving to begin with the salam. The salam, qabl kalam. The salam before we speak, before we get into whatever it is we want to talk about. Then you say unto them, Assalamu alaikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His noble book, He tells us, وَإِذَا حِيِّيتُمْ بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحِيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا. Allah Ta'ala, He says what means. And if you are greeted with a greeting, then respond with that which is better, or return it. So if someone says unto you, Assalamu alaikum, then respond to them by saying, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Go better. Or respond to them by saying, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, go better. Or at the very least, respond to them with the likes of what they had initiated the greeting to you. So say unto them, Wa alaikum assalam. And it is incumbent that we teach our children to have this mannerism. That when we see them after a long day's worth of work and the like, and we meet up with them, that we say unto them, Assalamu alaikum. And we train them that if they were in the madrasa, or if they were outside playing in the park and so on and so forth, and then they come in, that they come in and they give the greetings. They come in to the house and they say Bismillah, and then they give salam to the occupants of the house. All of these are key characteristics and acts of behavior that we have to establish. This is from having good character. This is from having good manners, that we establish the likes of these things. Because in the establishment of the likes of these things, then you will see a perpetual remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we'll be teaching our children thus and therefore to constantly remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the course of their day, throughout their lives. Throughout their lives, in so many aspects of their lives, to constantly be in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that if he were to call you, if he were to invite you, then answer the invitation. Now, if we are invited, then it is incumbent upon us that we answer the invitation, if we have the ability to do so, of course. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in a hadith that comes in Muslim, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, إِذَا دَعَا أَحَدَكُمْ أَخَاهُ فَلْيُجِبْهُ. That if one of your brothers, if the brothers of one of you invite you to something, then answer it. عُرْسًا كَانَ أَوْ نَحْوَهُ. Whether it is a wedding invitation or the likes of it. Now, if they were to invite you, then answer the invitation. Because all of this, it fosters love between the Muslims. Because when you greet your brother and you say unto them, Assalamu alaikum, when the sisters meet each other and they say unto each other, Assalamu alaikum, then what is the first indication of that? Is that there is mutual love, respect, and harmony. Whereas if you meet someone and they avert their face, or they see you and they don't speak to you, then now you give open to the shaitan to come in and to whisper into you, to make enmity between you. And remember, this is the role and the job of shaitan. This is what the shaitan puts his energy into doing. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us in authentic hadith, قَدْ يَعِزَ الشَّيْطَانَ أَنْ يَعْبُدَهَا الْمُصَلُّونَ. That shaitan, he has given up hope that those who pray will worship him. He has given up hope that those who pray will worship him. فَالتَّحْرِيشِ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. So therefore, he puts his energy into making calamity, to making conflict amongst the people. Whispering, this one don't like you. Oh, look, this one didn't give you salam. I know, you know they saw you and they turned away, they didn't even speak to you. It's because they got something in their heart against you. Oh, you see the way he looked, he don't like you. So on and so forth. This will foster enmity and hatred. Whereas what will close the door to this is by when you meet your brother, when you meet your sister, you say, Assalamu alaikum. Na'am, and then you respond and you return the salam. And it is unfortunately, how often is the case that you will meet a Muslim inside of the shopping areas and you will say unto them, Assalamu alaikum. Then they will look at you and they won't say anything, as if they're scared to give salams. Or maybe they don't like the color of your skin. Or maybe they don't think that you, whatever it is, what is going on in their mind. You see how shaitan works? You see that? So it is incumbent that when you're given the salam, you return the salam. Now, this is incumbent that you return the salam to your brothers, that you return the salam, because this will foster love, mutual love between you all. Also, you have to answer the invitation. If they invite you and you don't show up, now you open the door again for shaitan. You invited them, they don't want to come sit with you, they don't want to come eat with you, they don't like you, they to the end of it. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. You close the door. And if you are unable to come, then it is from good manners, it is from the deen that you ask that they excuse you and pardon you from coming because you are preoccupied with this, that, or third, and then you explain to them the situation, closing the door on the tricks of shaitan, closing the door on how shaitan comes and tries to make enmity between the brothers and the sisters. Ya ibadallah, establish the sunnah, practice the sunnah, implement the sunnah, because this will foster love between yourselves. هذا أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولجميع المسلمين فاستغفروا فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Ya ibadallah, also it is from the sunnah that when we meet each other, we greet each other and meet each other with a face that is cheerful. Now, it is unfortunate, and we understand some of us, we come from rough and tough backgrounds. Now, we come from cultures where it's rough and it's tough in the life. However, we have to leave off these bad characteristics and these bad habits that we had from before, from Jahiliyyah. We leave these stuff off. These characteristics and these manners, we leave this stuff off. It is incumbent that when we meet each other with smiling faces. Now, not with a grimace, not with a look of hardened look, not with a look of suspicion, and so on and so forth. But we greet each other with a cheerful face, with a smile. Now, this is very important. Ala kulli hal. The Prophet ﷺ, he goes on to mention, and if they ask for your advice, then give them good advice. And it shows you that it is from the sunnah to seek the advice from the believers, to seek their advice and seek their counsel. Now, especially those who you know, they intend good for you, and those who you know, they will give you advice based upon Islam. Not based upon whims and desires and the habits of individuals and so on and so forth, but based upon the deen. They will give you advice that Allah loves and that Allah is pleased with. And this is what we have to strive to do. That when someone asks for our advice, it is their right upon us that we give them advice. So we have to give them advice according to that which we believe that Allah Ta'ala loves and that which Allah Ta'ala is pleased with. And we give them advice based upon that manner. This is of extreme importance. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ad-Dinu Nasiha, that the religion is giving advice. Ad-Dinu Nasiha, the religion is giving good advice. To the end of the hadith muttafaqun alayh. Also, if the brothers or the sisters, if the Muslim, they were to sneeze, and we hear them say, Alhamdulillah. Now I want you to pay attention to this. If they were to sneeze, and then we hear them say, Alhamdulillah, then we have to say unto them, Yarhamukallah. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا عَطَسَ أَحَدُكُمْ فحمد الله كان حقا على كل من سمعه أن يقول له يرحمك الله. That if one of you sneezes and then they say Alhamdulillah, they sneeze and then they praise Allah. So they sneeze and then they say Alhamdulillah. Then it becomes binding upon everyone who hears him to say unto him Yarhamukallah. Now binding. Shaykh bin Baz rahmatullah alayhi, he mentions al-zahir al-wujuh, that what is apparent from this expression is that it is wajib. It is wajib that when we hear the person who sneezes, the Muslim who sneezes, and they say Alhamdulillah, then it becomes wajib that we say unto them Yarhamukallah. Now, this is from good manners. But also, this highlights a point, is that we have to teach our children and train them that when they sneeze to say Alhamdulillah. Naam. Not when they sneeze to say, excuse me. No. To say what? Alhamdulillah. Because that is from good manners with the Muslims. Is that when we sneeze, we say Alhamdulillah. Naam. And so much so that you praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you sneeze, whether someone hears you or not going to hear you. Whether you're with the Muslims or you surrounded by non-Muslims. That when you sneeze, you say Alhamdulillah. And we teach our children this. Why? Because this opens up the door of tremendous good for them. Because when the Muslims hear them sneeze, and then they hear them say, Alhamdulillah, then it becomes wajib upon everyone who heard that to say, Yarhamukallah. Also, it is incumbent that we learn how to change the dama'ir so that they are appropriate to the sex that we're talking to. So if it is a male and they sneeze, then we will say, Yarhamukallah, ka, with a fatha. But if it is a female, then we will say, Yarhamuki, with a kasra, Yarhamukillah, na'am, like this. And it is incumbent that we start to address our children properly, na'am, so that it trains their ear to how the Arabic language is said properly. So that if they hear you saying Yarhamukallah to a bint, to your daughter, they will say, no, this is wrong. It's Yarhamukillah. She's a girl. She's not a boy. Na'am, and the like. This is just some grammatical advice, inshallah ta'ala, to implement for those of us like me who's learning Arabic. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, and if they become sick, then visit him. Na'am, if your brother becomes sick, then we have to visit him. Na'am. This is what's going to foster good relations amongst the community. When you see your brother sick, visit them. If you hear about your sister sick, visit them. See what they need. They need food, they need someone cook for them, then cook for them, bring them food. You don't have no food for them, then give them some dates. Give them some water, give them some bread, give them some whatever you have. Share it with them. Billahi ta'ala. Be in the habit of giving and looking for excuses to give. Na'am, be in the habit of giving and looking for excuses to give. So when you go shopping next time, go shopping in mind to say, we need some water or we need a juice. We need 3 juices. Na'am, for example, we need 3 juices. Buy 4 juices with the intention that 4th juice, I'm going to give it away to someone. I'm going to give it away to one of the Muslims. Na'am. This is of extreme importance, and when they die, then follow their funeral procession. When they die, follow their funeral procession. Make sure you're giving your brothers and your sisters their rights when they pass away. Because if you look, these rights are rights that we have to establish for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one who has passed away, they have no idea whether we gave them their rights or not, but that's not our concern. Our concern is to strive to please our Lord Jalla wa'ala. That's our concern. Na'am. And in striving to please our Lord Jalla wa'ala, then this will enrich the relationship between us and everybody in our lives. Why? Because they will be the recipients of good behavior. They will be the recipients of good character. They will be the recipients of that which is best, that which is good. Na'am, and the like. And when you look at this hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said 6. He said 6. There comes another narration when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said 5. He said 5. What we understand from this is that there is no restriction as relates to the rights, but rather that the Prophet ﷺ, he pointed out and he highlighted very important characteristics that the Muslims have to have. He highlighted very important rights. So I want you to think about that. That these 6 rights that the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, these were from the most important rights, and that's why they were mentioned to the exclusion of other rights which are also rights. Now, so when we look at it from that standpoint again, then we see that this is tremendous. These rights are tremendous. They're not little, they're not trivial, but these are tremendous things. Someone say, we got so many big problems going on in the world, this happening, that happening, this country, that country, and you worry about me saying, Yarhamukallah, because you sneeze? Yes, because that's of extreme importance. That's why the Prophet ﷺ mentioned it. But I want you to understand, so we understand the scope of the rights that we have on each other. Sheikh Mabazi mentions that there's a few narrations that bring together all the rights that the Muslims have on each other. Listen to those narrations in which he mentioned. The hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you truly believes till he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. This hadith right here covers to the extent that the Muslims have right upon us, and to the extent of their rights is that we extend to them that which we love for ourselves. This covers all good behavior. All good behavior, the way you talk to them, the way you listen to them, subhanAllah. The way you talk to them, the way you listen to them, so on and so forth. Now, likewise, from this, and speaking on this point, it is incumbent for the children that when you're listening to your parents, that you look at them. This is from good behavior. That when someone is speaking to you, you look at them. And you don't fall victim to the problem and the trial of our time, is that you see the children, the parents talking to them, and they're on their cell phone like this the whole time. The parents talking to them, they're on their cell phone answering. Nah, okay, yes, okay. Garbage, yes, got it. I'm going to take it out. Yeah, okay, I'm going to wash the dishes. No, when your parent addresses you, you look at them. When your brother is speaking to you, you look at them. You address them. You don't turn your vision away to play around with whatever it is or to answer a text or whatever the case is. No, but you look at them, and this is from good behavior. How can we gauge this? Is because what? When you talk to someone, you want for them to look at you. You don't want to talk to someone, they turn their back to you. Because the first impression is, you're not listening. Are you even listening to what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm listening. Your back is turned. It's not the posture of someone who's listening. Now, reflect on the hadith of Jibreel, alayhi salatu wasalam. Ala kulli hal. Also, from those hadith that show what is the extent that the Muslim has right on the other Muslim, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, al-mu'min kal-bunyan yashuddu ba'duhu ba'da. That the believer to the believer is like a wall. They support each other. They give each other support. وَشَبَّكَ بَيْنَ أَصَابِعِهِ. And then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he put his fingers together like this. He interlocked his fingers to show that's strong right there. Right? That's the connection that the believers should have with each other, is that we are support, aid, and assistance for one another. Also, the last narration that Shaykh Ibn Baz rahmatullahi alayhi mentioned, as relates to show what is the extent that the Muslims have rights upon each other and how far reaching that is the hadith, مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل جسد واحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, what translated means, and the example of the believer to the believers, and the example of the believers as relates to their affection, their mercy, and their love, their mercy and affection that they have for one another, the example of that is like the example of one body. Like the example of one body. If one limb complains, if you got pain in one limb, it can be the littlest limb. It can be your little toe, your pinky toe. If you have pain in your pinky toe, that will result in all of the body feeling agony, all of the body feeling that pain, all of the body suffering. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that if one of their limbs were to give off a complaint because one of the limbs was suffering from something, then it will result in the whole of the body being plagued with sleeplessness and being plagued with fever. This is the example that the believers are to have with one another, is that we are like one body. One body means your win is my win. Your pain is my pain. What makes you sad makes me sad. What makes you happy makes me happy. From the good things, of course. We're talking about from the wholesome things. Now, but your win is my win. So as believers, there should be none of this jealousy, envy. I don't want to see you succeed. No, your success is my success. What makes you happy makes me happy. When your children do good, that's my children doing good. If your children are bad, that's my children being bad. So now we talk about community, parenting, and so on and so forth. It takes a village to raise a child, and so on. You ain't got to tell the Muslims that. The Muslims already know that. We don't want to sort y'all that. You understand? This is the reality of the situation. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islami wa sunnah. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the sunnah. Ya ibadallah, love each other. Be together, be one with each other, implement the sunnah, foster love and respect and harmony and mutual love and affection amongst yourselves. Ya ibadallah, this is of extreme importance. Do not underestimate the value of the rights of these things and the fruits that they will bring to your life and how much they will increase your life. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. أسأل الله تعالى أن يوفقني وإياكم لما يحبه ويرضاه، وأن يجعلنا مباركا حيثما كنا، وأن يجعلنا ممن إذا أعطي شكر وبطولي الصبر وإذا أذنب استغفر، فإن هؤلاء ثلاث عنوان السعادة. هذا فأقيموا الصلاة.